Hey everybody, Bonehead for the Bonehead podcast, and we've got a very cool unboxing review for you today. Our friend Docminiature has started making some pretty awesome team cases that are very suitable for Blood Bowl. So we are going to bust one open and have a look. Okay, so these boxes are available on the Docminiature website. I'll link that in the description below. £35 will get you one of the large boxes. Now, I've got to be honest with you. They've done a really good job of explaining the product on the website. So we can kind of warm up with that before we actually open one up and have a look. So £35. Basically, this multi-use hard shell box is perfect to transport miniatures and accessories for your games, such as fantasy football, skirmish games, or tabletop roleplay. It is a really good size for that. Essentially, it is a hard shell miniature case with one layer of foam, which means it's going to be perfect for Necromunda, for Blood Bowl, for RPG nights, for, I don't know, what other games are cool at the moment? I literally don't know. Oh, Warcry, cracking example. Those kind of 15 to 20 man games, 20 piece games, are perfect for this kind of thing. So it will fit a full fantasy football team, including big guys, with 11 standard sized zones, 56 by 36 mil, as well as 5 large zones with adjustable size up to 82 by 56. Now the large adjustable zones I think are really clever. Now we're going to have a look at that because we've got a big miniature that needs a big amount of space to kind of transport it properly, so I like that. The large adjustable zones can also be converted into 2 standard zones, including the using the included 10mm foam spacers to create 21 standard zones. Now you guys know I like big guys in Blood Bowl, so we're kind of going to test the box to the max when it comes to transporting those big miniatures. In fact, I've got another Brute Fun model over there that I think is going to be a perfect test for this. There's also a 45 by 45 dice zone in the upper left, so we've got a dice cube there to test that out as well. That will fit a standard fantasy football dice box. I love that addition. I think that's so useful. External dimensions all on there, and it's got some great pictures of what it is. So you've got the internal zip. The bottom piece there is perfect for range. For the range rulers element, which makes a lot of sense, and you've got that kind of extra dice and counters and ball tokens and things like that. Really useful to chuck all your stuff in. And you've got the red foam on top, you've got the black foam in the middle, and again they've done a really good job of kind of showing off how it can be utilized. Putting the glue on one side as well is pretty useful, and the potential max layout there as well, which is cool. That's what we're going to play with, and it does start off as pluck and pick, and I really love this too, because I don't know if you're like me, when it comes to storage, I'm kind of really bad, but then all of a sudden I'll be like, I really want to plan this out, I want to maximize my efficiency, and having this kind of detail, I mean, this kind of goes hand in hand. I think if you like printing and planning and Plano boxes for your board games, then actually being able to measure it out and kind of plan your team is a really cool way to do it. Anyway, some very lovely pictures. Let's have an actual look at the product. So when it comes in a packet like this with a lot of plastic wrapper on it to keep it safe. Makes a lot of noise, sorry for that. Let's put that away, and we'll open up this one that we made earlier. Or haven't really made, just kind of open up the box. So you've got a zipper around the edge, and it is a double-sided zipper, so you kind of get access from both sides, which is obviously wonderful. And then you get to look inside. So as we flip open the box, you can see you've got those zip areas there. There we go, and it works nicely. You've got plenty of space to kind of include your throw-in template there, which is what you want, and you've got these wonderful little boxes there. We will test closing it up with dice in the front. Oh, there's plenty of space in there actually. Oh, I like that, that's clever. I think they've probably got about enough space for a pen, which means you'll be able to fit a wad of dice in there. You know what I'm like when it comes to cases. The first thing I'll do is just kind of chuck it full of stuff and see how much it can take. Right, so ooh, look at that vibrant red. Wow, that's chunky. So when it comes to the foam layers, you've got one red layer at the top and one red layer at the bottom there as well. Let's pop that down there, and this is the case within. So this is our grey foam. This is where the magic happens. Underneath you've got one more zip of red, And you've got that there. So this is all pluck and pick, I think, is the appropriate phraseology. Now, first thing we're going to do is take away the big one there for the dice tray. There you go. All right, we can tick that off our box. So those of you who love your dice, you've got a couple of options when it comes to this one. You can chuck the dice in the zipper pits at the front, and because of the foam, it will be able to kind of keep it in place and keep it safe without hurting your models, which I really love. The way I kind of roll is I'll bring 2 or 3 different sets of block dice because I don't trust any of my dice, so it's really useful to have all that storage. You can just chuck all your dice in there. You can get your like I said, your ball tokens, your like your little markers, your status markers, your skill rings, everything like that you can fit in there. So mark that one off. Okay, then we've got the standard slots as well. So we'll take away a standard slot and we'll grab a standard player. Oh, this isn't a standard slot. This is the standard slots up here. All right, which is what we want. So let me grab a Black Orc and we'll drop him in there. So not too bad. Ooh, Discord. We ignore that. There we go. And he fits in beautifully. And I think we can get a bit of a live check-in just to see how much wiggle room you've got. Now, because I'm a stickler for space, I think a clever thing to do would be to try and see how much height you've got on it as well. So actually, from a height point of view, which I appreciate is very difficult to show on an overhead camera, flat there, you can actually stand up the Black Orc, and I think you're probably going to be able to do that with a lot of the Blood Bowl figures. Now, there's a load of catches and stuff that you won't, but I was thinking about actually your Snotling teams or your teams like the Halflings where you've got little dudes. You might be able to double up in space because that's kind of what I tend to do. So the Black Orc is good to go. Now, this here is a standard sized square, but has got the removable 10mm spacer and the standard square at the bottom there. This red is just super luscious on this film, isn't it? That's amazing. So that creates a massive hole for your big guys. So let's grab a massive big guy. We've got our Fenbeast model here, our new star player model, and it fits in perfectly. Now the cool thing about this is because you've got these kind of expandable foam bits, you can kind of chuck them back in to add additional padding. So if you didn't need to use that, you could chuck in another piece there just to kind of get it snug. I really like that flexibility. That's really useful. And then if you don't need to, or you get to kind of rebuild it if you want the extra space for the 10mm piece, so you can have 2 standard slots instead, you get to do that, and you've got the 2 standard slots back. I appreciate that I am right in the way. Standard slots there for your various Black Orcs. Now when it comes to depth, I'm really pleased with this because the Fenbeast is quite a big model, but actually there's plenty of depth there to be able to kind of protect your model, which is really nice. What else have I got kicking around? Games Workshop Ogre. Let's see how he fits in the standardized spot. So the Ogre from the Games Workshop is a tricky one because it's kind of like a bigger sized model, but it fits in one of the standard slots, but you've got the flexibility with these to be able to kind of, you know, if you want a standard slot, you got that. If you want a slightly bigger slot, so you can drop him in there. Now, I said I was going to test out one of the bigger models I've got, so 1 second. I've got my Brute Fun Lizard Man Croxagore here from the Beast, from my College of Beast team. Now, this is a chunky, it's a massive model. I may have scaled it up, but it is always difficult to fit into a team tray. But because you've got the flexibility with these slots, can actually put my College of Beasts away in a carry case instead of just being on display on a shelf. So naturally, I'm a big fan of that, as as is Tiff. Tiff is going to be a big fan of me being able to actually store my models in non-model areas. So we've got the dice box in there. It raises it a little bit high, but our next test is to zip it up and to see. So it is a hard case. You've got a lot of flexibility, you've got a lot of resistance there, which is perfect, but actually it's kind of got a bit of squeeze, nice quality. Makes me so anxious doing this just to see what the models are going to be like. But I think it's an appropriate test. And we'll open it up just to see how much things have moved around. Models good, models good, models good. Oh, I do like these models. All right, I'm sold. That's really good. The last test I think we need to do is to put put the dice in one of the zipper trays at the top here. Let's wangle this. Completely missed the zipper. There we go. Let's chuck the dice in to the top tray there. Zip it up. So you can see I've chucked the awful Amazon dice in there, and we'll close it up to see if we've got enough space. Just sounds like a tent. That's a proper zipper. There you go. Actually, you've got that flexibility, and you can't even hear the dice move around too much, if at all, actually. So we've got plenty of room for dice in there, which I'm very happy about. You've got room for your dice cube if you want. You've got the Amazon dice tucked away in the top there, which means you've got that extra clearance. And there's plenty of room for big, delicious models too. So, big fan of this. Kind of things I like to do is maximize my storage, which means overfilling it sometimes. And I think, even though you could fit a book in there, I don't think you've got enough clearance to do that and keep your models safe. But because we like to push these things to the edge, let's drop this out and let's upend these dodgy Amazon dice. There we go. Thank you, Amazon dice. Thank you for playing. GG's. I'm going to try it with a rule book in the top, just to see if we've got the clearance there. Do you know what? It's heavy, but you can do it, which I'm impressed with. I wouldn't recommend it. Like, this bag, you're going to need to kind of carry it around. So actually, you probably can carry a rulebook at the same time. But for completeness' sake, I did want to see if you could fit the rulebook in there. And you can. Okay, so there you have it. I'm impressed with this. I'm really impressed with this. There's plenty of spaces to be able to fit your team in there. But for me, it's that flexibility of having the kind of pluck and pick pieces so that you can flex from having lots of slots for little guys to just, I mean, there's what, 21 slots in there for regular sized pieces if you don't go with the big guy route. So you can kind of fit almost every Blood Bowl combination in there. Because you've got the slot for the 5 big guys, you may struggle if you've got 6 giant ogres on your team. But I think the Games Workshop ogres, they fit perfectly in a standardized slots. Those standard slots are big. You saw the Black Orc fit in there without any issues at all, as did the ogre. So you're not going to have any problem with any of the Games Workshop teams there. And even if you're printing off large size alternative big guys like our Fenbeast model or Brute Fun's Lizardman, the Croxigor, you're going to be able to have that flexibility to choose where you want it to go. Really like that. Now, disclaimer, I don't recommend putting all your dice in the top and a book and your models, because it will be too much and you'll put strain on the zipper. I just did that to see if you could physically fit it in. Rulebook on the bottom, team on the top, you could probably get away with it, but this is a box for miniatures, not a box for rulebooks. I just like to see how much I can kind of get out of things. So really good. It's plenty durable. The quality's really good. The utility's really good. If you're looking for a little top-up gift for Christmas, this is not a bad way to go at all. Anyway, guys, I'm going to wrap up. Links are below. Do give Docminiature a good look, because there's some great products coming out of them. And I'll be back soon with more Blood Bowl content. Happy blocking. Thanks so much for watching. We really appreciate your support. If you want to support the channel even further, please like and subscribe. It really does help us out. Or come join us on YouTube Members or in Patreon, where you can get exclusive access to some content, some loot, early access to basically everything we do, as well as regular competitions. Or you can pick up some Bonehead Podcast loot either on our website at boneheadpodcast.com. We've got the Dungeon Bowl things, we've got tokens and stuff like that, or on our Spreadshirt site as well. Everything you do just helps us make more content and hopefully do it of better quality. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. Happy blocking.